Alright, so we're taking out our reading books. You should be quiet. Alright, so once those books are away, let's get your focus back up here. So today, actually for the next two chapters of To Kill a Mockingbird, chapters 9 and 10, what we're really going to focus on is symbolism. Alright, so, can anyone, just off the top of your head, tell me what symbolism is, or even just, what is a symbol? You guys run into symbols every day of your life. They help you navigate through society. What is a symbol? Off the top of your head, I'm not looking for the most precise answers, let's just throw them out there.
Stop sign.
Raise your hands.
Stop sign.
Stop sign, okay, a stop sign is a symbol of sorts. Even without the word stop, do you know what a stop sign is? Okay, why? What is it, an octagon? Is it 8? Alright, so those 8 sides, that octagon, it's red. Without the word stop, your mind already knows that symbolizes you're coming to an intersection, you probably stop. Marilyn.
Something that represents
Something that represents
something else.
something that represents something else, okay. Anyone else want to add on to that? Symbolism. What is a symbol? Let's hear from you more.
I go with her answer. Something that represents
Okay, we're talking kind of vague right now. You're saying something represents something. What is the first something we're talking about? And don't say a thing. Anything like what? Anything like what? So we have a sign,
Oh, like jack-o'-lanterns can symbolize something.
jack-o'-lanterns. So we have objects. That's one thing. We can use objects. What else? Objects. Think about some. Dang. The sign. Okay, the sign. What else? What about people? Can people symbolize things? What does Captain America symbolize?
America.
America, freedom, whatever you want. You watch Avengers, they always talk about that. It represents like America and good qualities and things they try to hold on to. So, it can be an object, it can be a person, it can be a situation that has another meaning beyond its literal meaning. So, aside from it being a sign that says the word stop on it, it is a stop sign. If you just see it without any words on it, you already know. That symbolizes a stop. I don't even need the words at this point. You have signs that don't even have words on it. What's the yellow one with the 2 X's?
Yield.
Yield.
Oh, crossroad.
Oh, yield.
Never mind, wrong one.
You said
Yeah,
yellow.
I said yellow and it has like a crossing.
Train track.
Train.
That's what I said.
It's always annoying when you get stuck behind a bus too and they stop on the train tracks and you're like, oh, I don't do this, but you do. I just forgot. Oh, you guys don't drive, sorry. Well, when you're older, you'll realize that. Shrugs too.
Kind of.
So, it can also be actions or words that a character has as a deeper meaning beyond the context of what it's in. So, good example. Who's seen Terminator 2? Terminator 2? Who's seen it? Only a couple of hands? Alright, so it ends. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil a movie that's almost 2 years old. So, the movie ends. It's very poetic. You got Sarah Connor, who in the previous film was getting hunted by the Terminator that looks like Schwarzenegger. Now she's working with him. And this guy's like mangled. He just fought like an advanced Terminator, trying to save these humans' lives, particularly John Connor. So this guy has like no arm, like he's got like wires hanging out, like a red eye. And John, he's a little kid, he's like, no, like you don't have to die, you can stay with us. And basically Terminator's like, bro, how am I gonna drop you off at school looking like this? I don't have an arm, I'm made out of metal, I talk like a robot with Austrian or German accent. So basically Terminator says, I gotta go. I gotta die. I shouldn't even be here. If they find this technology that's inside of me, who knows what will happen. It's just this vicious circle. So, the poetic part is Sarah Connor, who in the first film kills the Terminator with like a button in this big industrial complex and like smashes the Terminator in this machine. In this one, it's like you can see it in her face. It's like with a heavy heart, she has to press a similar button, but this time she lowers the Terminator, who like willingly goes on this chain to this batch of lava. So as it goes down, you guys have seen the meme. He's like going down, and at the end, he goes like this, and his little thumb is like a little flame, and he's gone. So, you hear the music? Super sad. I swear, to this day, it makes me sad watching it. In a second. So, symbolically, this is much more than this robot saying, I gotta go, like, I can't live in this time. Symbolically, if you look at it, it's like that greatest gesture of a parent or a father figure self-sacrificing themselves for their child. The whole film, like, John's trying to talk to the robot and make him more humanistic, make him more like other people, and it's not until the end where this guy, he probably does the most human act for a human, even though he's a robot. He does take on that like father figure for John, because he doesn't have a father the whole series, in that last gesture, and kind of just, you know, killed himself for his son. So, very symbolic. But if you're just watching the film, it's just, oh, this robot's gotta go. But if you look deeper beyond the context, it's way bigger than that. So, we could probably think of more examples ourselves. So let's do a little exercise. Tell me with a show of hands. I don't want to hear you yelling out answers. Alright. Let me get a show of hands. What does it symbolize to you? Let's start, Caroline. Start hands. Nazis. Man,
Windmills.
white supremacists. Nazis. Huh? What? Hitler.
Third range.
Hitler. Third grade. So we got Nazis, Hitler. What else comes to your mind? White supremacy. What about hatred? When you see this, do you think happiness?
No.
Or do you think of hatred?
It's like names.
What do you think? Nice to hear. All the Jewish people that suffered during the genocide. Okay. Alright, keep paying attention to the screen. So, is this typically what you think of?
Oh,
Yeah.
Alright. What do you think this is? What country?
Germany.
What country? Germany? Thailand? Alright, this is actually... Alright, this is actually not Germany. This is actually somewhere in the east, over in Asia, probably India.
Oh, I said Oh, my.
That's also India. This is a very common symbol, and up until the war in 1930, this symbol actually took on more than, it wasn't even about hatred, it was about like peace or good luck. It had nothing to do with killing an entire race, it had nothing to do with Hitler, it had nothing to do with hatred. It was a very common symbol, and if you go to these countries, you'll see it everywhere, and you'll probably do a double take, like, I've seen that before. Very similar.
I'm scared.
So, just like symbols in the book that we're going to be going over, I mean, even in life, symbols take on a different context depending on where you are. There's not always just one definitive representation of a symbol. It can be open to interpretation. Some more straightforward, like a stop sign. But when we're talking about literature, a lot of these things have a bigger definition than just what's being said, and that's what we're trying to take a look at. And we're also trying to take a look at the context of what's being said, the context of the book, some of the other themes. Space forward or back down. So, with that being said, let's take out our books.
I didn't get a paper.
Okay, here's your paper. Before we start reading today, we're going to do a little bit more practice with symbols. So before we start examining symbols that are taken directly out of the book, we're going to just practice the symbols you guys see every day in life. I'm really looking forward to the discussion because first period, I mean again, people interpret symbols in different ways and it doesn't necessarily make it wrong. So we're going to go over them, we're going to discuss them afterwards. Thank
Oh, the Nazi.
As soon as I saw the first thing, I was like, no, I was saying
And you need an extra. You're not on your phone, right, Irving?
no.
Okay.
Bro, there's actually a piece of it. Piece of hat.
He's loaded.
So now that you have the paper, let me just do that. Alright, let me get your attention up here. Alright, guys, up here. Okay, so let's take a look at the directions before we get started. Directions. Remember that a symbol is an object with both a literal and figurative meaning. That is, it represents both itself and something else. Using the sentence frames provided, explain both the literal and figurative meaning of each symbol provided below. So let's just go over the first one. Pretty simple. You guys have all seen this everywhere. You're conditioned to know that when you see this and you tap it or you press it, what's going to happen?
Play.
It's a play.
It's going to play some sort of media, a video, a song, a track. When you first get your first when I first got like my first iPod back in the day, there's no buttons on the iPod. It was just a circle
Yeah. That really
with a circle in the middle. But you knew that the triangle meant it's going to play something. So, without knowing anything, I don't need the words hit this to play your song. I just knew, hey, I'm going to press that like I pressed it on everything else in my entire life, like VCRs, now on YouTube, everywhere. If I tap that, if I press it, it's going to play. So, literally, this is an image of a circle with a triangle. No big deal. But, figuratively, it's associated with playing a video, playing media, something of the sort. So, we'll do 12 minutes. Now, here's what I want you to do. Quietly, with your partners, you can work. If it gets too loud, we'll just go back to individual work. I'm hoping that you guys have enough self-discipline that we can work in partners. So I'll put about 12 minutes. We'll reconvene and go over the answers together. Trust me, they get harder once you get to the back. Not harder, but a little more confusing on how you're going to interpret these. So go. Explain it. Is it really high? Alright. You know that one.
Oh, which one? Yes.
Alright, there you go. There you go. Exactly. And that's exactly what that scene captures. It symbolizes so much more than the film. That one was interesting how first period interpreted it. It goes a lot of different ways. I think I got
That's Cinderella.
How's that Cinderella? Why is Cinderella dancing with the werewolf? I don't know what he is.
That's the person that
You get stuck on any? Not yet. Until you get to the back.
That's the owl. Is that what it is?
Probably.
It looks like the owl.
But
Is that the one that looks
technically,
like
A hard one.
discussion.
A hard one.
But don't put down the
On the 9 years.
I know what this is from.
Is that the?
That's what I
That was something I got from first period. Technically, not wrong. Technically, it does symbolize that.
I know it's
like brown.
If you're associating that with Tootsie Pop, then you do
Now,
your job.
once you peel off the shell, it looks like brown.
Yeah.
Not the commercial. Tootsie Pop, come on, man. These solos, you're gonna get some.
It's a hard one.
Yeah,
It's
is that
egg
plans the
brown.
TCO commercial?
The little boy.
Yeah, one.
Randomly, you'll see like once every year. Every 6 months, I'll see it.
Mr. G is a hard boiled egg brown.
Brown? No.
Yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna look it up.
I mean, there are brown eggs. There's white eggs too. Why is that racist? What's racist about that? I just like challenging kids because they like throwing that word around. My nephew, that's racist. And I'm like, you know what that word is?
I know.
Sorry, I do it a lot in every class. I walk backwards a lot.
Not okay.
You're not okay.
I only have a little bit of extra in my bag.
I do. Okay.
Alright, the level's getting a little too loud. Let's keep it a notch lower so you can keep the group work. Let's keep it at this level. Perfect. If you guys are confused, call me over. We'll try to brainstorm. I'm gonna go here first.
Oh, ready?
What is this white crayons? I didn't get any of that first period.
Not anymore though, not this
No,
one.
but
Go, go. That's not like I was curious. I was like, how so? It was like 15-year-old. Hey, you know, yesterday the challenge. He was wearing like a yellow shirt and like pants and shoes. And it reminds me of you. And you know when you wear your ears? I was like, I told him, I need to. I was like, that looks so good. And then he's like, so. And I was like, I need some clothes. And I'm like, oh yeah. Then he said your last name, but I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, you remind me of the way you remind me of the way you know how you wear that black pants? Wait, do you have a question? Oh yeah, you feel like you're worth something now? Yeah.
that's possible.
Okay. What is that? Kind of right.
We'll write some down. We're gonna go to you when we get done.
The hand one is very interesting. For the sake of this discussion, it's readers, but on paper, don't look readers.
Which crayon should I be drawing?
Yeah. You could just say like center of the Tootsie Pop.
No, crayons symbolize like kids.
You think?
Alright.
No, I've heard it first. It's just that it furthers the point that we were saying. PK.
But it's not covered.
It's straight as a rainbow.
I would be education was about
Rainbow drunk
So
call.
wisdom is basically education. You know wisdom is
Have you seen that
basically
TikTok?
wisdom
Like
is
the
like
rainbow's like all messed up. It's just like rainbow, go home, you're drunk.
so wisdom sounds better than education. Because wisdom is like the knowledge.
Interesting. So I want white and I wanted to say colors, but
Whenever I see an owl, I think of a YouTuber that
color.
Yeah,
How
but
you
wisdom
do
is
that
what is wisdom?
definitely change how people respond.
It's not. Hooters is like directly 2 O's right there. No
I
I's.
like symbolize something deeper.
my hand.
This one is.
It was the owl.
The owl's interesting.
Snow White.
Interpret it as you will.
Snow White.
Meaning.
It's either Twilight or Snow White, but either way, they both have the same meaning.
I'll give you a hint right now for the owl.
I mean,
I think it's a Twilight cover, but if you're just looking at a hand cradling an apple, it could mean so much more. I've had good responses like maybe it's Snow White, that could be a possibility. Oh my gosh, you're like the third person. No one in first period said that. Technically, that's not wrong, but inappropriate, so I wouldn't put that on a sheet if it were that. Yeah, sorry, you guys.
see now we know what bars look like.
Alright, let me give you guys a hint. All eyes up here. All eyes on you. For the owl. This is the only hint I'm gonna give you. It's associated with. I mean, it's kind of.
I just forgot about that.
It is weird.
Guys, pay
Okay.
attention.
Alright, the longer we take to get your attention again, that means the longer it's going to take to get to our activity. And our activity is reading. And if we don't finish the reading, then you might have to do it at home. So, waste time if you want to, but I'm not going to be the one that has to do the reading later at home. So, let's stay on track. Let's keep the conversation up here. I'm all about having a good conversation, talking. When I want your attention, I want it up here. So, the owl. It's you kind of have to think about this connection. It's like a double connection, but the only clue I'm going to give you is that it's associated with a Greek goddess. Don't shout the answer out if you know. That can be one interpretation. I'm not saying that's the only definitive correct answer.
I don't know who
It is not the restaurant.
Oh, I know it.
I would never put that restaurant's logo on a sheet of paper. You have about 3 minutes. I will be collecting these. Huh?
See, I told you.
It is associated because of that connection. It is associated with the logo on my connection.
No, but
I didn't think about that one.
it's not like Athena wish.
That's
Education, though, is like wisdom.
I kind of thought. And technically, that's not wrong.
Hey, isn't that the one from that movie? That movie that showed that game Kong?
Alright, how many of you need more time?
Who has an album?
You still know what's But you still what? No, I even looked up the logo yesterday. That's what I thought. I think the best answer, even though like I initially thought it was Tootsie, is the wisdom one. I mean, I wouldn't either, but when you think about it, why is the owl associated with like academic apps, academic websites? You always see an owl with like a graduation cap on.
Okay, you got the first one right.
I like this teeny
You see
That's
what?
what,
Yeah.
it's something that wrote.
Really?
No,
What did you
yeah,
get for
it's
the
like-
crayon one? I feel like racism
Yeah,
is
it's
intense.
okay.
I mean, I feel like racism is intense.
Actually, no, right?
That's
That's
the reason.
Not me.
No, I didn't. I know, but this is how I got my feet. That's how I did my skateboard.
What are you trying to
But
say?
my hand was like a
Alright, need more time or we're about done?
Almost.
So it's like less than.
Alright, finish them up. I'm collecting these before getting in. Yes, finish.
It's my opinion.
I also have the same thing.
That's fine. There's no real right or wrong answer. It's only interpretation. Different symbols take on different meanings depending on the context.
Oh, okay. If you see a glass halfway filled up, do you say is it halfway filled up or halfway empty?
1 minute left.
You know, supposing you could have
Finish up that back page if you have it.
your side and side each other, and you see things differently. Yes, sir.
Okay, wait.
Something.
I didn't know what crayon was. Or the
Yeah, you should
Oh, a fish.
So we don't have that.
Yeah.
It's not her arms.
It's her legs. I saw this thing on Instagram.
Yeah, alright, let's get it back up here now. Let me get everyone's attention for a moment, please. Alright, let's go through these. So, some of these are going to be really easy. Some of these are going to be interesting to hear what you guys come up with. So, we're looking at the image of the figures. Let's go to Vanessa East. Yeah, give me the literal meaning of those figures. Sorry, or those images. What are they? And then just give me figuratively what they're associated with.
It's supposed to differentiate genders or with that.
Okay, gender-specific restrooms. I'm sure everyone got something similar. Bathrooms. Okay, this is a good one.
She's so happy.
Let's go with the third image. Caleb.
Hey.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect. Alright, what are we looking at?
Literally, this is an image of a hand with 2 fingers. Wait, with 5 fingers, like 2.
Yeah.
And what very is associated with peace.
Okay, peace. I don't know if they do this anymore, but when my sister was like in high school, they would do this at the games for victory.
No.
No.
No,
they would just do W.
The cheerleaders would do that. Well, that makes sense more. Okay.
I did not.
Alright,
Do that.
alright, here's a good example of how symbols
It's when someone gets injured.
how symbols take on different meanings depending on their context. If you were in the UK, one time I was in the van driving. Or I wasn't driving. We were overseas in the UK. We were leaving somewhere and some pedestrian I don't know, drove went next to our car and she was really mad. She was like, "Hey!" And she put up her fingers. Okay, over here we were so over there, this is quite the opposite of peace. If I put down my index finger, it'll be something else. So over there, that's what it means if you just reverse your peace sign. And there's history involved. You want to check the accuracy of this history, but apparently in the war between the English guys. I'm trying. So, there's a French between the English, and there's a war between the English and the French. Apparently, English are really good at archery. That was the new technology back then, having long range weapons. So the French were really upset, really hated these archers. So at one point, they were able to capture some. When they captured them, cut off 2 fingers, or plucking fingers. Cut these off, so a big insult and just demoralizing, taking their 2 fingers that they used to actually pluck a bow. So the next time the English got the upper hand, they surrounded the French, all with bows, and lifted up their fingers and said "fuck you" or something like that, which eventually, through history, changed. You can check the history, but that's how the context is. That's how you. This is a great example of how symbolism changes. Just being on one side of the world from the other. You can do this, and it might be interpreted very badly somewhere else, or even this sign. I don't know. When you're overseas or in a different part of the world you're not familiar with, you want to watch what your hands are saying. Yes. Oh, that eventually like gradually changed to. You can kind of put the pieces together. Check the history on that though. The war and the plucking of the bow. All right, let's move on. Juan. Next image under the peace sign. Oh.
Thank you.
I just learned this image means an image of an apple with puppy.
Okay, figuratively.
A company that makes computers and phones.
What company?
Apple.
There you go.
Thought, but
Alright, I'm interested in what this literally is, Destiny. The last image on the first page. What is it? I still don't know what it is.
I still can't figure it out.
it's a
I'm asking for Destiny. Literally. I'll tell you, that's all I can make of it. Figuratively. Figuratively, you know, you don't need the words on it. When you see this logo, oh, Starbucks. I gotta go.
Or what about that one place Ramona? Where it makes, I don't know what they make.
Alright, this one's gonna be harder. Flip the page, first image.
Oh, can I do this one?
Yeah, volunteer. You better not say the restaurant. Dylan.
Well, I put visually, this image is an owl,
Okay.
and then but figuratively is associated with Athena.
Athena. Okay, anyone want to add on to that?
Yeah.
Lauren. She's the goddess of wisdom.
Goddess of war.
Here,
I put it has to be like with the commercial, like how many legs does it take to get to the center of the
Okay, great answer. I also thought it was a Tootsie Pop guy. So, back in the day, this is a commercial I would see all the time, so when I saw this,
Hey, I want me a Tootsie Pop.
guys, you need to seriously work on getting quiet and focusing. It's getting really bad, particularly this grade. So, yeah, I initially thought that, and technically, that's not wrong. If it symbolizes that to you, that's the association you attach to the owl, I'm sure that's the product they wanted when they used an owl in their commercial, is that you would associate it with this, I don't know, it's product, and you want a Tootsie Pop. But, if we dig deeper, Athena, goddess of wisdom. Typically, we see this associated with what type of stuff? School stuff, academic stuff. You usually see them like a little graduation cap. So, through the connection with Athena, we have this typically representing wisdom throughout different media formats. Alright, let's get someone to do that next image. Let's go with Josh J. Josh, can you please take your headphones out and put them on my podium?
Literally, this is an image of a statue of a girl holding something.
Yep.
Figuratively, I associate it with New York.
Great, New York. That's a good one. People definitely associate this with New York. You see it sold there, little models. What else can we associate this with? Irving. Freedom. Typically, that's what they say. She's lighting the path to freedom. Liberty.
From French.
Her name is literally Lady Liberty. Given to us by the French. Why do you know that?
Oh, history.
History.
Oh, okay, that's why. Alright, the next one. Daniela S. That third image on the back.
Alright. Literally, this is an image of a ribbon.
Yes.
Figuratively, it is associated with a sign of supporting the battle of cancer.
Okay. Yeah, typically we see this in support of cancer. Also, there's different colored ribbons, so typically it just represents like an awareness of sorts. When you're wearing this, you want people to notice it and be like, oh, what's that for? Oh, I'm supporting my friend, they have this disease, or they have breast cancer of some sort. Just bringing awareness, you see it all over the place, blue ribbon, and it's pink ribbon, you see it all in the NFL. Ooh, okay, this one's tricky. I'll take volunteers for the crayon. Who thinks they have a good interpretation of this? This one's kind of creative. I saw your hand up first.
Children.
Children, that's a good one.
What?
Marilyn?
I put Crayola.
Crayola? Jaslyn?
I put the same thing as well.
Same thing. Anyone get something different?
Oh, I got
Life is colorful.
crayons.
What?
Crayons.
Crayons don't represent crayons. Irving,
Inequality and racism.
inequality or racism. Some people did that. That depends on what you see that second color in the background.
Why is my smaller? Exactly.
Well, it could be dark green.
So, yeah, first period I got like creativity. We heard racism was one. Honestly, I'm not even that sure what this represents, but those are good interpretations, and I could definitely see that symbolizing some type of inequality or children or, yeah, anything like that. All right. Caroline, second to last image on the back. Figuratively, what is this representing?
Love is based on culture.
Okay, so love isn't based on superficial qualities or physical appearance. Can we all agree on that? That's kind of what the theme of the movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of what that last dance symbolized, her like accepting the beast, and then he changes, and it's all dramatic.
Never had it.
All right, and finally, the last image.
But I never actually had my first one.
Already heard this all. Ariana, the last image.
Okay, so I put literally this is like hands holding an apple. And then figuratively it's Twilight, the movie Twilight.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Twilight, it's the cover of the book. Jasmine, what do you
I
got?
put
Greatest movie.
evil.
Evil, figuratively? Why is he evil?
Vampires.
Because yeah, like
Twilight,
It's
okay.
like,
Any other interpretations of this
oh yeah,
apple that we got?
No, wait, what's it called? Snow White.
That's what I thought you were saying.
Never
So, Snow White, Twilight,
Giving food to someone that doesn't have food.
giving food to someone that doesn't have food.
No, it's and also like with the apple, it's like the vice, like
That would be the apple one on the front though.
Why? That's-
The
Did
forbidden
anyone
bite.
get something about like a forbidden fruit?
Yeah.
That could be one. Which would also lend itself to Snow White and that poisonous apple. So great. So definitely, as you saw, symbols have different interpretations based on you guys have different backgrounds. That kind of influences how you see a particular symbol. If you're from the UK, you probably see that peace sign and write something else down. So we're gonna take a look. Chapter 9, chapter 10, most likely, particularly, we're gonna get to a specific symbol. Something's gonna be said that's very vital to this whole novel, or at least to one of the major themes. And we're gonna try to hone in on that and interpret that. So, turn to, I think it's page 99 for chapter 9. And pass forward your worksheets. Write your name on them.
On number 9. I saw there's something like that. I saw it very the Twilight.
Oh,
Great thing all time. I got my.
Whoa.
So, chapter 9, page 99.
like
99.
Does everyone turn to page 99? Let's open it.
Magic.
Stand up.
Ah.
No, literally, get out of your seat and stand up. Alright, page 99. Joel, stand up. Alright, then go outside, it's your choice.
Chapter 9. You can just take that back, boy. This order, given by me to Cecil Jacobs, was the beginning of a rather thin time for Jem and me. My fists were clenched and I was ready to let fly. Atticus had promised me he would wear me out if he ever heard of me fighting anymore. I was far too old and too big for such childish things, and the sooner I learned to hold in, the better off everybody would be. I soon forgot. Cecil Jacobs made me forget. He had announced in the schoolyard the day before, Atticus sighed, I'm simply defending a Negro. His name's Tom Robinson.
So, from chapter 7 to that fire, from here on out, sorry, chapter 8, I think. After the fire, this book kind of changes in tone. We're not focusing so much on the kids anymore and like their shenanigans. This book starts concentrating on Tom Robinson and this case. So you'll hear more about that as we go on. And the repercussions.
He lives in that little settlement beyond the town dump.
Okay, so why did he say that? It's different this time. He said, this time we aren't fighting the Yankees, we're fighting our friends. What does he mean about that? What does he mean? Huh? So the people they live with in their town? Why is he going against them now?
Because he's defending someone that they don't like that's of a different race.
So, this is where race is starting to play a big part about it. So we have Tom Robinson, African American, crime against he hasn't been convicted yet, so supposedly he's done something to this white person. And this white family, the Yules, do they have a good reputation? No. They're like the trashy bunch in town that no one likes. And the interesting part is when they describe the Yules' home life, when they talk about like they live in like the trash, the dumpster area, and then they talk about where the African Americans live. If you remember that early on in the story, like, oh, it smelled so nice, they're nicely kept. That juxtaposition really helps illustrate like the Yules and how even though they're white and they have that privilege, they are probably as bad as how they describe African Americans, which is ironic because the African Americans throughout this story, they give us no reason to think badly about them. So you have whites against African Americans, and then you have a white lawyer representing the African Americans. Do you think the whole town is going to be excited about that?
No.
So that's why he's going against them now. And we're going to see how it gets tougher for not only him, but his family.
Him. Remember what Atticus had said, then drop my fists.
All right, we'll start there tomorrow. Have a good day.